We're going to be debating 2 wide receivers going in similar ADP for you at your drafts this fall. Cooper Kupp versus DK Metcalf.
Right here.
What's up, Whisper Nation? It's Big Travie here. That's Johnny Game Time Hicks, and we are doing another Face Off Friday. We're going to be debating 2 wide receivers going in similar ADP for you at your drafts this fall. Cooper Kupp versus DK Metcalf. We would like you to comment right now who you think is going to win this matchup.
But before we give you the coin flip, so you know which one of us is arguing for who, make sure you jam that thumbs up button. Give us a big blue thumbs up, as well as if you like our content or this is the first time you're watching it, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell with the notification so you get a notification anytime we drop a new video, which is almost daily. All right, let's get to that coin flip.
Cooper Kupp, which will be heads, and tails will be DK Metcalf. It is my turn, so here we go. And it is tails. So I get DK Metcalf. Big Travie gets Cooper Kupp. Let the battle begin.
Of course, Johnny gets DK Metcalf.
Hey.
He sits here all off. Listen, it's fine. I want Cooper Kupp here. Don't worry.
Oh, good. Because that's who you got.
I think every week, Johnny is getting the guy he wants every week. I just want that to be known.
Okay, so I want to get this straight. I want to get this straight.
Really,
no.
I thought it would have been really. I thought it would have been really nice if you would have gotten a guy you didn't want and I didn't, and we could give a little bit of perspective. But instead, we'll bang the drum once again, and once again, Whisper Nation will let me know that I won. So, Johnny, beauty before age in this situation.
Yeah.
So go ahead and go first, sir.
Well, very similarly to how DK Metcalf is so beautiful.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to start off like
this
that.
This isn't like a looks face.
Hey, this was a trend. But if looks were in this, we all know DK Metcalf would have taken home the trophy. I won't even have to go there with my argument because we already know who will win that one. DK Metcalf. Listen, there will probably not be a hotter name going in this year's draft than DK Metcalf. When you take DK Metcalf, I almost certainly could tell you that you are going to get the reaction you want in the room. You know the one I'm talking about, oh, dang it, I really wanted him. But not everyone can have him. You could have him, and you should get him, and I'm going to tell you why. 100 targets last year. A lot of people are going to tell you, oh, he wasn't even the number one wide receiver on the team. You have Tyler Lockett there, and Tyler Lockett got more targets. Yes, I will give you that. But the bigger playmaker here is DK Metcalf. A lot of people were writing him off, and in his first year, he had 58 receptions for 900 yards and 7 touchdowns. Now, this guy has the making and the ability to get up in the 10 to 12 touchdown range with dangerous Russell Wilson, who has been super efficient in the red zone. They need a big red zone target because they still don't necessarily have that. And as DK Metcalf continues to evolve, continues to get better at football, he will become a bigger red zone target for a team that is super efficient in the red zone. So DK Metcalf to me is a guy that, yes, his potential is definitely there, and you're probably buying him more in that value of the potential and the hype. But I still think that he can get into the top 15 and be a top 15 wide receiver this year, as opposed to Cooper Kupp. Now, I don't want to steal all your argument before you make it, so I'll pass the mic to you, Travis.
That's a cute argument you've got there, Johnny. I appreciate it. I think it's all good and well. And I think a lot of what happens with DK Metcalf is hyperbole. I think he's, big and he's fast and we love all these things about him. But let's look at the facts here.
He's handsome and he's smart and he's extremely good looking.
Cooper Kupp is not
any of those
big and fast, but he is the guy that gets the job done. And he's done it consistently in his time with the Rams. Averages 5 catches, 67 yards, and a half a touchdown per game. He was last year's wide receiver 4. If you look back at 2018, he was on pace to be wide receiver 4 that year before he got injured. We look at ACLs, which is the injury he suffered in 18, and it usually takes 2 years for them to get back to full strength. He was wide receiver 4 on the first year after his ACL last year. Goff loves this guy, especially in the red zone. He was the 19th most targeted wide receiver in the NFL in the red zone last year. He's been that way kind of consistently with Goff on a per game basis. You look at Cooks and Gurley leaving the offense. That's about 20%, Johnny, of the target market share now up for grabs. Now, obviously, the tight ends will get some of that. Robert Woods will get some of that. But Kupp stands to increase in his targets as well. And I think we're talking about a guy who has lived within a top 10, top 5 range when he's on his game. And whereas DK Metcalf, we just have not seen that yet. You talked about the system with DK Metcalf in Seattle. I think if we're talking about which system's more lined up to be a pass-heavy system, it's the Rams. Goff led the league in pass attempts last year with Jameis Winston. So, yes, they do want to get back to running the ball, but maybe their line won't allow them to. And that means Cooper Kupp becomes the guy that they focus on in the offense going forward. I do love DK Metcalf. The talent is there, but if we're lining them up side by side, give me Cooper Kupp. He's established. He's been there before in an offense that probably projects to be more pass heavy.
I do completely agree with your argument that they continue to like to pass the ball, and the LA Rams are more pass happy than Seattle. I will give you that 100%. The problem with the argument is that they are going to more 12 personnel as opposed to 11 personnel. And the problem with it and why it's such a big issue for a guy like Cooper Kupp is, okay, so just so, for the average fantasy or for the average football fan that doesn't know, 11 personnel is 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receiver. That was when Cooper Kupp was averaging the wide receiver 8 for fantasy. But after week 9, from weeks 9 to 17, when we saw Robert Woods really break out, they shifted to a 12 personnel, which is one running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers. When that happened, Cooper Kupp completely came off the field. And then what did we see? We saw Cooper Kupp become wide receiver 32, while Robert Woods was wide receiver 8 during that time. So and what did they do in the draft? They didn't go and get more offensive linemen. They went and they drafted more tight ends, which says to me, and not only that, but they are blocking tight ends, which means to me that they are going to continue to go with this 12 personnel over the 11 personnel. And that screams to me that Cooper Kupp will not see the field as often as we'd like. And so for me, I don't want to draft a guy with the draft capital when I can't guarantee a snap count. Now, with Brandon Cooks gone, could he take over? Sure, he could take over.
Yeah, we're looking at 3 years of Sean McVay, and you're looking at 5 weeks down the stretch in 3 years' time that you're trying to base your argument on. And I get it.
Yeah, they shifted. They shifted their entire attack because their offensive line
is dude. You know what they haven't shifted at? That Jared Goff loves Cooper Kupp and that Sean McVay loves Cooper Kupp.
That's a huge story, dude.
All they can do is gush about a guy who continues to score touchdowns, be the red zone guy for them, and continues to do all the dirty work they need down the field. Cooper Kupp is a guy established of doing it. We still don't know DK Metcalf. He could be a guy that lives around wide receiver 30 to 25, or he could be a guy that explodes. We don't know. I think Cooper Kupp is your better, safer option, but I do understand the allure of DK Metcalf. But Whisper Nation, once again, we want to know what you think. Comment below. Let us know who won this face-off today. Was it Big Travie, or was it Johnny Game Time Hicks? Was it Cooper Kupp, or was it DK Metcalf? We are the Fantasy Whisperers, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TF Whisperers.